1, 2, 3, guaranteed victory!
I'm your huckleberry.
Bullshit, I'll bet you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Hulkamania is dead!
It ain't got no gas in it.
Finish him.
Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute, A.A. Ron. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Played him with the phone, Dick.
Recording. Welcome to episode 37 of It Gets Dumber. It's already going down.
I thought
Go,
it was 38
Charles.
already.
It's 37.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
All right. The whole gang's here. Trey, Mason, and we have Charles to yell at me about how the moon landing's real. I don't believe him. Go.
Oh, I was just going to say, so where's the audio of the dog and the monkey that they sent? Like, they didn't survive either, did they?
No.
No, Miss Baker survived. She's buried in Huntsville, Alabama at the Space and Rocket Center. I just went to her grave a few weeks ago.
Who was that?
Banana. She's the monkey.
So the monkey survived. Did
No,
she
we're talking
go-
about the monkey that the Russians sent up.
Oh, no, I don't know about the Russian monkey.
I think the Russians actually did send their monkeys on suicide missions, but
The audio of that.
they brought back a lot of dogs though, because there was a lot of Jack Russells that came back. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmo is actually based on a real dog they sent to space.
You're going to have to silence the male motherfucker.
Yeah. Sorry. Probably need to plug my phone up too.
The audio that I'm talking about is shortwave radio. I guess operators back in the 50s and 60s. They were, we were trying to get to the, space race, trying to get people, around the Earth and all that. We were behind them to begin with because the Navy kept failing with all their space flight projects until Werner von Braun took over. Well, the shortwave radio operators were listening to the skies because that's what they do because they have nothing better to do, I guess.
I'm just going to go ahead and cut you off right there. Everybody failed with their space race missions.
we got probes up there. I fully believe we have like probes and stuff out and about.
We're communicating right now from space.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
What is the Voyager? The Voyager is like
Voyager's
one light day away from Earth now.
Yeah, it's like
Correct.
it's the furthest away thing we've ever had.
That's good. Does it have?
From my
they need to
opinion,
bring
it's-
it back, install some 4K cameras on it, and then let it go again.
Yeah,
They
but here's
launched
the
that
thing.
fucker in like the 70s.
But here's the thing. It was built in the 70s, but it had 8K cameras on it from the 70s. That's an old-ass technology. It's not new.
Dude, like an 8K camera from the 70s is probably the size of a semi-truck trailer.
That was pretty much the entire satellite. Was nothing but sensors and relays. I mean, that's all it was, covered with like a couple of sheets of gold.
Well, and it apparently has the ability to heal itself or at least reroute its own electronics because it did that. Because we had lost communication with Voyager for a while, and apparently it fixed itself.
If I remember right, that was one of the most confusing things that NASA's ever had is the fact that it fixed itself. They couldn't figure it out either.
Or the Space Gnome seen it was broke and they just did a pit stop on it and patched her up real quick.
No, an alien craft has hijacked that thing, and they are just like, they fixed it, and it's reporting back, but they're just kind of taking it with them now.
NASA's just getting like pictures of like the Hangover, just the aliens with the Voyager probe, like they're passed out drunk.
The other direction.
They're like,
this all sounds good, but in reality, I mean, let's be fair. It's code that was written in the 70s and 60s, and it's not communicating. It's probably lost to time. We didn't have any recording of it, so it's trying to tell us this stuff, and we're sending back messages, and we're doing it, and we just don't realize we're even doing it.
I mean, correct. But the data it sends back from the edge of the solar system is fascinating data, especially like I know we were talking about before, and I guess since we're recording this now, we can talk about it again. That when it hit the edge of the solar system, that it hit this massive wall of heat that just should not be there. And it just hit, interstellar space is just this massively hot gas for absolutely no reason, which shatters our preconceived notion of what actually goes on in between star systems.
That's what's weird because it came up and it confused the hell out of us because we've never seen it under a telescope because it's kind of like one of those things that infrared's the only way to see it, and we just kind of can't look at it clearly. And if we're looking at one far away, we don't even see it. I mean, it's similar to seeing headlights on a car. But the thing about that is more than likely it's like the edge of the sun's reach. And
So it's
that's the
still in our
absolute
solar
edge.
system.
Right. That's the absolute edge of our solar system is all that heat, because the heat eventually runs out of energy and stores there at the very end of the reach of the sun.
So why can't we steer it towards Betelgeuse so we can figure out what the hell's going on over there?
Because in a few years, we're going to see Betelgeuse as just like a big giant ball in the sky where it went boom, boom.
Which is going to be crazy because it's going to be pink in the daytime in the sky, and at night it's going to be brighter than the moon, which is going to be ridiculously cool to watch.
It's
And
a nighttime bass fishing. Bam. Don't got to worry about a full moon.
So
yeah,
it's
it's 30. So it's 30 light years away. So it could have, if it were to start today, the supernova, then it would have happened 30 years ago. So like it could have already happened and we don't even know it yet. So we could get blasted by particles and gamma radiation and not even know why, because it came from a supernova that we can't see yet.
So you're saying
like
that
all this-
Betelgeuse's radiation would reach our like Milky Way?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
most
absolutely.
definitely. I mean,
It is
a
Milky Way.
neutron star 10,000 light years away can kill us.
Yeah, Betelgeuse is in the Milky Way. It's part of our galaxy. It's part of our supercluster.
Huh. I didn't know it was in the
Dude,
Milky
like,
Way.
there's some stars in the sky that may not even be there anymore, but they're just so far away from us we don't know because they
Right.
blew up like
Correct.
billions of years ago, and we just ain't got the memo yet.
Yeah,
Some of the dimmest stars in the sky, they probably don't exist anymore because the light from them takes so long to get here that it could be millions of years old that's finally just getting here.
So-
and that star has already lived its life cycle.
So
yeah,
why
Betelgeuse
can't,
actually sits in the same arm that we do of the galaxy.
so why can't we just turn James Webb towards it and just look at it?
We have.
The light has to travel. It's you can't look back into. I mean, we are
Yeah.
looking back in time, but we can't turn the clock back by turning up the
can't-
magnification.
Yeah, we can't turn it forward. Yeah, we
back
can't speed time up.
If I could walk away.
Thank you, sir.
The only way
that's
to
like-
manipulate time that we know of is to speed up how fast we are traveling.
Yes, but if James Webb can see exponentially further than what is the other telescope? Hubble, then we are peering back into time, and we should.
Oh yeah,
we should be
every
able to see it.
telescope, even the ones you can hold in your hand, turn back time when you look at stars.
If I could turn back time. That's right.
Like Hubble, when it took a picture of the pillars of creation, for instance, that star nebula has already condensed and formed planets. We just don't know what they are yet because we can't see it because the light hasn't reached us.
Dude, I would like to see that in person.
I don't think that's physically possible, but I mean,
al-
let a
al-
motherfucker
also
dream.
In person, you would have to still be like 30 light years away to actually see it the way we see it in a telescope. If you were actually close to it, it would just look like just a fog.
Chaos.
Yeah, it would be superheated particles, and you would not be having a good time.
So,
Like one of them go through you and you never know it.
right. Okay, so one of my theories of life, if I were to just kind of go on a little bit of a diatribe here, is that whenever
with the
you
$5
pass
word.
away, you recycle. So like what if whenever you pass away, your soul or whatever leaves your body and you travel through space, you could go through these things. Like you could figure out a lot of shit between the time that you leave this body and the time that you join the next body.
What happens if it's just like an automatic shift, like the light at the end of the tunnel you see is really the light as you're coming out of the womb?
Exactly. Yes.
If you could prove that humans have a soul, you could actually record it.
Didn't they
Leaving the
prove that
body
humans have a
and-
soul?
You have a soul.
No,
That's
they-
what's talking
only
to
one
us right
person's
now.
ever proved that there was a weight difference and he had anomalies all throughout his paper. So, yeah, he's literally only one person out of.
It wasn't like
Thousands of
37
tried.
grams or something like that.
Yeah, but the thing about it is he recorded 2 out of 3, and he only ran the study once, and nobody ever peer reviewed it, so it doesn't really hold weight.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't peer reviewed. The things underneath the pyramids aren't peer reviewed, but how many of us raise your hand if you believe there's something under the pyramids?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, that's a belief because it hadn't been pulled up and proven. Until it's pulled up and proven, it's still just a belief. It's a
so is gravity,
Yeah,
but I mean
it's
that's the
also
best thing we got
repeatable.
for it.
I believe. Listen, if I were to sit around
And a
and
thing
wait for
called love.
Zahi Hawass to prove that there's something underneath the pyramids,
Yeah, he
that's
can
never
prove
gonna
it if you
happen.
read his book.
Yeah. He has turned
but it's
over
in my
every
book.
bit of sand in Egypt. Is
It's
from
in my
what he
book.
says.
Einstein pretty much proved that light proves the existence of gravity. So I mean, and he laid it out pretty detailed almost 100 years ago now. So I mean that part's been well defined. It's just the fact that we don't have a way of
Okay.
measuring it like any other particle in the air.
Okay, we need to kind of course correct here and stop like tangent. We need to get to the meat and taters of this.
Yes, the moon
The
landing
moon
is fake,
landing.
and
All
you're
right,
never
Charles. Sir,
Okay, so back to the original thing with the shortwave radio thing that leads into it. They're called the Lost Cosmonauts. You can look it up. I googled it a minute ago when we started this whole aside here, but it was in the early 1960s. There's 2 Italian brothers are the ones that recorded it, but it was talked about for a bunch of shortwave radio people around the world. It was in May of 1961. And it's a weak, desperate call for help from an orbiting capsule. Is what it is. What it is translated into, like when you translate it from Russian to any other language.
So hold on, let me interrupt you 1 second. Is this capsule still orbiting the Earth, or has it moved on?
Oh, it's probably gone because here's the thing: once you reach escape velocity and orbital velocity are 2 entirely separate things. And back in the early 1960s, that wasn't really well understood for what they were doing because there was nothing really orbiting Earth yet. And so if they, with the Russians and the way they did things, they just cared about results. They didn't care about the science behind it. And they just wanted people in space. And so what they probably did is they probably just strapped somebody to a rocket and said, all right, you're going up. And they never did the
for the motherland,
Yeah.
comrade.
Yeah, exactly. They care nothing about human life.
It's
Correct. And so
just
they
an
just
audio
press
snuff
play.
film, is what you.
Well,
it is.
to be fair, you don't know what's going to happen. So basically, when you volunteer to be launched into space, you're like, all right, well, I'm pretty
We're
much
rolling the
guessing that
dice.
I'm not coming back.
Well,
To an
that's
extent.
always a possibility. Or they told them, "Oh yeah, we're going to send you up there and bring you right back," and then their math was just wrong because
Telling
I mean,
them a
to
little
be
white
honest,
lie. Be like, listen, dude, everything's fine. We have it all figured out. All right, you're gonna go. It's gonna be a quick little trip. Turn around. You're gonna come back. That's it.
No, I mean, see, you don't even have to tell them that because the amount of training you'd put them through before you'd send them up for a suicide mission, he'd think, okay, with
Okay,
all this
he think
training,
he's
I'm gonna come
Superman.
back
Here's the
alive.
training. Okay, listen. First thing, here's one of my first arguments against the fact. How did they know that this was the type of training that you would need to go through to go to space and to the moon? How did they know that?
They didn't.
What do you know? So what are you training
Other
them
than the
for?
water tank, you're just training to put your body in shape. You need to be in. You have over 10 G's pressed on your body when you launch into space. You need to have your body in shape.
and the astronauts that they chose, the Americans chose. I can't say anything for the Russian selection process because I don't know anything about it because all that stuff is highly classified by the Russian government. It'll never be released other than Yuri Gagarin's name. However, the American process, they took experimental fighter pilots. So they took the best of the best pilots that we had that were white men.
Wait a minute.
Which
Did we have jets during that time? Because you said fighter pilots.
Yeah,
we had
Yeah,
jets in the Korean War.
We had jets in '46, the year after the
Okay.
war. We were building them
I just
early.
didn't know.
Yeah, we
I
had
was
jets.
just- I didn't know. I was just asking.
We also had Nazis making rockets for us too,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Warner von Braun.
Braun, it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
and
That's
a
the
whole
reason
lot
bunch
more of them
Germans in
too.
Central Alabama. Yeah, there's a whole coliseum named after a Nazi in Huntsville, Alabama, because it's a whole thing. But anyway, the Von Braun Civic Center spent a lot of my youth going there. But So they took the best of the best fighter pilots that were experimental pilots, and we're talking about their the crafts they were already flying that were experimental were already rocket powered. They were already things where there was a very high likelihood that they weren't coming back. Guys like Chuck Yeager, who was the first man to break the sound barrier.
What was that? The X-73, right?
Correct. Yeah, and they were already doing things where the likelihood that you're going to come back home from work is very low. And so they took the guys who were the best at that, and they're like, okay, we're gonna create a selection process to figure out who the very best of the very best are. So you ended up with guys like John Glenn. You ended up with guys like Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, stuff like that. Michael Collins, where they were all superheroes in the Air Force world, and then they turned them into astronauts because they looked, best, the best on TV. They look like they portrayed the American capitalistic values, like Gus Grissom, guys like that, where they were absolutely what the U.S. government wanted to portray to the world, and especially to the Russians. Like, these are Americans. These are the best Americans we have, and we'll put them up against anybody. It was a propaganda thing. I will give you that 100%. The way the selection process went, but the fact that we actually did it was not propaganda. The fact that we actually did it proved that it was a proof of concept that the American capitalistic society could be pitted against communism and win.
All right, hold on. Let's stop for a second. And I know this is probably getting ahead of it, but how many times between these failed missions where the space shuttles blew up? So was there a time where, let's say, one space shuttle blew up and then we successfully sent somebody to the moon and then the next space shuttle blew up? Or was it just a line of failed space launches and then they were just like, all right, well, we're just going to quit?
Apollo 11 got there first try.
Okay.
I mean, so you're skipping around some on the timeline.
You're so far ahead. Apollo is so far ahead of where the start was.
Correct. So
I know.
But that's the first time they put them into
Gemini,
orbit.
Gemini was
and put a lander on the moon. That was the first attempt.
What I'm saying is, because I know that one of the space shuttles blew up in like the 90s
less
or
computing
something.
power than what was in the Game Boy.
Right.
So the space shuttle, so far after Apollo, the space shuttle started in the 80s. Apollo was in the 60s. So the original, if you want to follow the history of the space program, you got to start with the Redstone rocket. And the Redstone rocket was developed based on V2 rocket technology, which was a Nazi rocket that was developed in Germany during World War II. Von Braun was the chair of that project there, and his team developed the V2 rocket. It was supposed to originally deliver payload to England, to London. Basically, we're gonna shoot you from the sky, and that transformed into we're gonna create what's called an intercontinental ballistic missile with the Redstone rocket, because that's what the Russians were developing for nuclear payload delivery. And so that turned into, we can put a person on this and send them to space. And that's what started the space race. Well, originally, the government wanted it to be all in-house. So the Navy was working on this project. The Air Force was working on a separate project. And it was marred with failure. I mean, there was a significant amount of failure. And the only reason we brought the Nazis over here that worked on the program was to work on the propulsion side of things, the actual quote-unquote rocket science part of it. Well, it turned into von Braun finally winning because the Navy had a dismal failure. And he was like, this is what they did wrong. You should let me run this program. And I don't know how he talked somebody into it, but he talked somebody into it in Washington. They listened. So they gave Wernher von Braun control of the program. And that's why it got moved to Huntsville, Alabama from Florida, where it was originally. That's whenever they started talking about, we're going to put people on these things. And so they started off with the dog. They started off with, the monkeys. And they proved that you could strap this capsule called the Mercury capsule on top of a Redstone rocket and get it into orbit. And you could put somebody on top of it. So that was a one-person crew. So one guy straps to the top of this rocket, and he goes. That's where you get the first man to orbit Earth from the U.S., John Glenn. and it was basically we were playing catch up to the Russians because they launched Sputnik first. Well, then we launched our satellite. Well, they launched Yuri Gagarin around the Earth, one orbit around the Earth. But we launched John Glenn for 5, and we're trying to play catch up, and we're trying to beat them to where they hit a wall was when they were developing their moon technology because they couldn't get the propulsion enough fuel into the rocket to get to the moon and back, and they just could not successfully do it because the Russians.
Let me interject right there. Just one thing to interject in with that might overmiss with the moon landings. The reason why the Russians didn't catch up was because they also at the same time were launching missions to Venus.
Correct. They very successfully, actually, they sent probes to Venus that they're still the only people who have actually landed something on Venus.
I'm gonna send a probe to Uranus.
Well, it took a lot of temperature readings and stuff, and if you would realize the pressures involved on Venus, the atmospheric pressure and the temperatures involved, it's very amazing that it lasted a couple hours. The probe lasted on the surface.
I hear the pressure inside Uranus is pretty tough too.
Well, so there's pictures that they have. I remember there was a book that I had when I was a kid. I can't remember what it's called now, but it had pictures of what the Russian spacecraft sent back to Earth, and the surface of Venus is this iron, basically flaky looking. It's what the crust of the Earth would look like if the core cooled off and the crust burned off. If that makes sense.
Kind of looks like the inside of the Grand Canyon.
But the sky is yellow. It's like you're in this giant fog and it's all yellow. It's pretty fascinating photography, actually.
It was all yellow.
The Russian problem is they never figured out how to land and get back. That's where they were failing. That's why they never sent somebody to the moon that we know of. I'm not saying they didn't actually do it, but that's where they always failed, was being able to get somebody to come back. They could never figure out that technology because it was such a highly guarded state secret.
Well, it wasn't just that either. I mean, they never put any preference for it in the beginning of the program in the first place because safety was not a priority. It was on NASA's side.
Yeah, because you can't convince the American public to continue funding something if we're out there just sending people to their death.
Right, and Russia could care less.
Yeah, they just do whatever they told them to do, and at the fear of death. But here, the thing about Apollo that was so crazy is when we sent Apollo 11 up there to the moon, NASA wasn't sure if it was going to work. They were genuinely, there was a genuine contingency plan. You could read the document from the desk of the president that they had a speech prepared for the eventuality that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were not able to leave the surface of the moon. Like, this is an actual, plan they had. This is what we're going to say to the American public. And we're never going back, but they will eternally be there as a monument to what America accomplished on this day and all this other stuff. But it was going to end the moon program right there. So the fact that that document even exists proves to me that we actually win, because it was never, they planned for a failure.
Does the supposed what is it, Air Force documents that say flying over a flat and level Earth? Do you believe those because they're official documents too?
No, because the Earth is not flat. That's.
I'm just saying. You say you believe those because they're like a document. It makes me believe this.
So it's one thing whenever you have a speech prepared for them to not be able to leave. That's one thing. But you can look at the photography that was taken from the moon. You can look at the photography that's taken from space right now on the space station. There is a camera in the cupola of the space station right now that is recording it going around the Earth. That's public access. You can go on NASA's website and look at it.
I was going to say, because the photography
but
from
that's
inside
in
the
low
shuttle,
Earth orbit though. No disputing that's going on. No disputing. I'm not disputing the probes or anything like that. I just don't think human beings have walked on the moon. I think it was just like Interstellar said, it was propaganda for us to beat the Russians during the Cold War.
I
So-
know. I wholly disagree because I mean you can take pictures on a ground-based telescope and actually see the rovers and the capsules or the landers themselves. You can see
I
them
go
on the
out and
surface
take
of the
pictures
moon.
of the moon all the time on my camera. Like I can't zoom in that good on it, and I've took my telescope out there and looked all around. I didn't
But
see
you
no
can-
rovers.
Well, they actually have Earth-born pictures of the Sea and Tranquility where it landed. They have pictures of it from Earth.
So
looking
you
straight at
can
the moon.
see the rovers from a telescope from the Earth on the moon.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's pictures of it. You can look it up online if you don't have a telescope yourself.
Because
But if you know where to look, you can see it.
the biggest issue I have with the moon is fake and the proof it's fake is that it only talks about 12 and 11 and doesn't talk about 14, 15, 16, and 17. I mean, there's so many more.
Even 13,
missions.
that slingshot around the moon that is has the record for the furthest human beings being away from Earth.
Okay, I'll pivot then. If we did go to the moon, why haven't we been back since Apollo 17?
Money.
Because bureaucrats.
Why
Because
haven't, why haven't we
it's-
done any other sort of like that's supposed to be like
Bu-
we'll build a base
bureaucracy.
on
I
the
mean-
moon to go to Mars?
Yeah, I
So-
mean,
so
think
here's
about
the
the
reason
expensive
why.
pennies.
Whenever we went to the moon before, the amount of the national budget that was spent to go to the moon to begin with was astronomical. I don't have an actual figure in front of me about what the actual percentage of the budget was, but there was a reason that we were able to rally the country together to support this mission because it was sold to us as
We got to beat the Russians.
this is our fundamental and foundational fight as Americans, as capitalists for democracy, to prove that we can do this and they can't. It was a patriotic thing. People, just like it was right after 9/11, how everybody had the American flags out and everybody's like, united we stand, we will never forget. It was the same kind of thing with going to the moon. But there was a goal, and that was the stated goal, and that's what we're going to accomplish.
The
So people
goal
would support
was
that.
to make Russia believe that we have gone to the moon.
Yeah, in '66 it was 5.9 billion. In '67 it was 5.4 billion. 4.7 in '68 and 4.2 billion in '69. That's chump change compared to how much money we give in 4 and 8 every day.
That's true.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, but you're also talking about 1960s dollars.
Yeah, you got to adjust for inflation.
Okay, inflation, that's 35 billion. Okay.
But if you look at that versus NASA's budget today, you will see exactly why NASA hasn't been back.
Don't we spend like $3 trillion on Social Security and stuff?
I'm sure it's something along those lines, yes.
How much of that is for $10,000 hammers?
Yeah, see, there's the problem. It's not.
NASA's
It's not
budget
helping
for
people
this
out in
year
retirement.
or for
that
2026
They've already
is
paid into.
I mean, you can't sit here and say that this wasn't a project that really went on when people actually lost their lives in pursuit of it. You talk about it being propaganda and all that.
Oh,
If
yeah,
it was the case.
people
Well, I
did.
know
we were-
Gus Grissom died in a test thing.
People did lose
Yeah,
their
Apollo
lives.
one.
I'm not
on
saying
those
people
space
did, like,
shuttles.
I'm not disputing nobody died or anything like that trying to do it. People die doing shit every day. I'm just
People
saying,
did
like,
die on those space shuttles that blew
why
up. In
whenever they go to like the space center to record the thing, why'd they only have it where they can record it from one TV instead of giving them like a live feed of everything? Why could
Well, see,
Nixon talk to them on a landline instantaneously, but now when we talk to the people on the like space station, there's like a half a second, 2 second delay.
It wasn't instantaneously for one. When he talked to Apollo 13, when they were in orbit around Earth, when they were getting ready to slingshot to the moon, there's still a delay there. If you listen to the audio recording, when he talked to the moon, there is a significantly longer delay between what he says. If you look, it's not an actual conversation. It's them talking to Houston, and then they say the president's got a message for you. The president talks to them, and then that's the end of the broadcast. But then if you listen to the entire recording, it takes a few minutes for them to actually be able to hear it and respond and get back. It's not instantaneous.
Well, I mean, on top of that, to add another thing to the budget thing before I forget about it. I mean,
By the way,
you
their,
talk about the
their
space
supposed
shuttle.
budget for next year is $18.8 billion.
Yeah, pennies. but
That's
literally
pennies.
half.
$18
That's half
billion
of what it was
is
in the
pennies.
60s.
for the space agency that's supposed to be the best space agency on the planet. Hell yeah, that's pennies.
Dude, $18 billion isn't pennies in anything.
But it's
Yeah,
half of the budget.
You're not being comparative. You're being
Yeah,
comparative
it's
to
half
yourself,
budget
not to
in
the government.
60s.
The government can just make up arbitrary numbers and make like however much it is. They don't have to like, oh, this is the budget. They can just make some ones and zeros and make it happen, whatever.
I just want to say something. If we could go to the moon in the 60s on technology as advanced as a fucking Game Boy, you should be able to go to the moon now in less than $18 billion.
Yeah, if we went to the moon,
but
then
here's-
why hasn't somebody like made something where you can go to the moon on like vacation? You can't tell me that fucking Mr. Beast's ass wouldn't be on the fucking moon in a heartbeat if he could. He'd be making
Jeff
YouTube.
Bezos couldn't even go on low
Dollar General would have a fucking
so
Dollar
many big
General sitting
things.
there.
So many big things. The reason why it hasn't happened is somebody's not backyard building rockets. Number one, the fuel is illegal. It's
Elon
as
Musk is
legal as-
backyard building rockets. They return themselves back
Elon
to their
Musk
launch pad.
is not backyard building
Yeah, he
shit.
ain't backyard building it, bro. He's got fuck you money.
Okay, so that debunks the
And
backyard
Elon
building
Musk can
rockets
barely
thing.
get the Starship to work.
And here's another thing about the budget you might want to look up is how much the United States government is paying Elon Musk for SpaceX for its space program, and I guarantee you it's higher than the NASA budget.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I'm almost guarantee it is because they're blowing through rockets right and left because they can't get it to work.
So yeah,
Why
private
could they
industry.
get it
That's
to
another
work in
Yeah,
the
thing.
how can we get it to work
then?
in the 60s?
Here's
Why
the
has
thing,
there
it
been so
sucks.
much advance in
The
all the...
reason why they can get it work in the 60s, I'll give you the honest to God answer. Because the mathematicians and the people they had working for the space program in the 60s were better than what we have today. Because
Okay,
today
so
what we have
we're
are
going through an
So-
intellectual decline. Then everybody is getting
Yeah.
dumber by the day.
I mean,
Well,
the name of the podcast
everybody's-
is It Gets Dumber.
I mean, you got to remember, in the '60s we went to space on an abacus, not a calculator.
correct. And that's you make the technology.
That's the reason why mathematicians are dumber than they were then, because today's mathematicians can't do that math in their head
Why? Why not?
because they're not taught to do so. They're taught to use the calculator that can do it for them.
You're talking about mathematicians that literally devoted their entire careers to orbital velocity and stuff like that. It's not the same as what we're going through today.
Okay, hold on. Time out for a second. SpaceX, since they've started with the government, has received $38 billion. Last year, they got $6.3 billion from the government. So there's that answer. I'm just saying that there's been so much advancements in
Google's
everything
answers.
else.
But
So
you got
much.
to remember that's the public budget for SpaceX. SpaceX also gets a huge chunk of the DoD budget too.
So why hasn't SpaceX gone to the moon then? That's over 65 billion
Look,
right
look.
there then.
Okay, here, let me get it out, please. Let me get it out. Okay, back in 1978, we finally finished the first shuttle. We finally built it, put it on the launch pad, was beginning testing. At the same time, NASA proposed the budget. There was two separate programs: an orbital science program, which was the space shuttle that we knew and loved until the early 2000s when they retired it, and the other was another rocket program to continue going to the moon. Well, the bureaucrats cut that and kept the space shuttle going because the space shuttle had more militaristic goals than the moon.
I thought that we kept going to space in particular was so we could put some sort of like light energy weapon that could destroy like
Oh, the rods from the gods thing?
yeah, that thing.
But here's the thing. I mean,
They probably have something like that.
almost every single thing you use today on a normal basis, everything, even down to the Velcro on the crotch of your pants, was made for space or in space, was developed in space.
Was developed
Not-
in space?
You have most modern technologies, that's where they begin, and that's where
So,
they make their way into society.
so Buzz Aldrin had a fleshlight. Awesome.
Yeah, dude. So there's an Amazon factory on the moon currently.
$2 Generals. Third one coming
No,
next week.
that's a mom's.
So the next space goal in for the moon, and this will happen in our lifetimes, hopefully, is that I just researched this. So that's why I was quiet for a second. But they are wanting to build a jumping point to get to Mars. So basically, it's going to be a warehouse where they can assemble rocketry. So because
Well, China wants to build a thing to start harvesting the helium-3 or whatever.
which we need because we're running out of helium. That's something a lot of people don't talk about in this world. But helium
another
is
thing they
gone.
don't talk about here in America is the Chinese expanse in space. I mean, they now have a space station bigger than
The
the International Space Station. Just
And
sitting
the
floating.
Indians are on the moon. So I
And
mean,
it's wide enough you can
They
fit a
got
car inside their
probes
space
and
station.
rovers.
They got probes on the moon.
Yeah, they got probes and rovers and all kinds
the
of.
Indians
crazy
literally
stuff.
just sent back a picture of our lunar lander and the flag that's now white on the moon's surface, like a couple months ago.
But Honda sent up some rockets not too long ago, and Honda also just developed their own reusable rocket that definitely rallies. Or
Dude, if it's a Honda rocket, that thing can go crash in the moon, bounce off of it, and come back.
Was it a Civic or an Accord?
It was an NSX.
but no, their rockets are capable of also landing themselves and everything. And first try, they were successful, unlike SpaceX.
So here's the thing: like people will say, "Well, what's the point of trying to go back to the moon, right? Like, or budget or whatever." The reason why you would want to continue to go back to the moon is kind of like what Charles said, like. If you have gone to the moon, you would want to keep going back to build some sort of station there where you could send someone to the moon and then send someone somewhere else.
Okay.
And that was originally why you had the space stations we put up there into space. You had Skylab was the first one that laid the foundation for the International Space Station. The International Space Station was supposed to be a resupply point for moon missions. That was because it's a whole lot easier to leave when you're already in orbit than it is to leave from the surface.
Yeah, because there's not as much gravity pulling on you.
Lockheed Martin and Boeing have been investing in new rocket technology for years, and every time they get somewhere, they get their budget crashed or their contracts.
Yeah, because all their money's going to build, make F-16s and F-35s and all this, and make these drones.
It gets repurposed for some new ballistic missile they're working on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's another crazy thing about the American budget is how much money we spend in literally refurbishing nuclear missiles every single year.
And if you were to take a fraction of the defense budget and cut it and repurpose it towards space travel, we could be on the moon. If we had kept the same level of spending, percentage wise in the budget from the 50s and 60s to now, there's no telling where we could be. Like legitimately, we gave up on it because as a national identity, it didn't serve our politics anymore.
Okay, let me ask a question.
Because we beat the Russians.
How much fuel was on these crafts that went to the moon?
I don't have an exact number, but the Saturn V rocket had 3 stages, and it had the F-class motors that were on the bottom stage. There were 7 motors on it, and then those had a liquid fuel, like liquid oxygen.
Apollo 11 had 1.4 million pounds of kerosene, 3.1 million pounds of liquid oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
the lunar module had 5,000 pounds of aerosine, nitrogen, and tetroxide oxidizer.
So I don't know if either one of you have caught on to where I'm going with it, but I'm assuming that you guys saw where Elon said that it would take 8 refuels to send the rocket to the moon.
To send his, probably, yeah, because it's not designed for it.
So are rockets more efficient now or less efficient?
Less. The way he's building them.
Because the rockets SpaceX building are designed to be reusable.
Yeah, they don't save money on fuel; they save money on the rocket itself.
Correct, and the rockets are heavier, and they aren't designed with the same process or the same purpose. So when you look at the spacecraft we were using back then, we didn't give a crap about if it was reusable. The thing burned up in the atmosphere whenever the fuselage broke apart intentionally. So there was not a single part of that was reusable, and that was by design. Even the actual crew capsule that came back through the atmosphere that landed in the ocean Like that's not even reusable because the thing is burned to hell and back because of the forces used. Like I literally just went to the Space and Rocket Center a couple weeks ago whenever I was home in Alabama. And you can lay your eyes on the actual capsule they pulled out, the Apollo 11 capsule they pulled out of the ocean. And if you think that thing is reusable, like it looks like
It looks like the corrugated roof material used on like an old barn. That's actually what it looks like when it's sitting on the ground. Because I've never seen the one in Alabama, but I've seen the one in Houston, and yeah, it looks cheap as shit. You're wondering how could somebody actually survive in it, but then you realize that 90% of what kept the astronauts safe burned out in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, it was designed to. I mean, something had to burn in order for it to dissipate heat, and the oxidation process, when it's going through the atmosphere, dissipated enough heat. It was designed to last just long enough for them to survive, and that's it. Like there's no wiggle room.
That's what killed the space shuttles was they modulated their heat shield at the bottom, and every time a piece of foam got lodged, one of those module tiles got dislodged from ice coming off the fuel tank.
And those tiles on the backside of them, they're foam. They're not. I mean, they're designed to be as lightweight as possible. It's not like there's some kind of hard like shielding.
Yeah, they're like packing foam with like a special type of spray paint over the top of them.
Correct. It's black, and it's not like what you see in movies where it's you can go through a battle in space and still land on a planet. That's not real. It's the most fragile materials ever. It's why they call them space age materials because they're designed to be as light as possible. I forget what the formula is, but for every kilogram you send into space, it costs you like $200 and something thousand to get it in orbit. And that's like just the base price for the technology where it's at. And that was during the shuttle era. So like if you want to send, you can send anything you want to space right now, as long as there's a, quote unquote reason for it. So like if you want to pay to send a 2 kilogram satellite to space, you can do it. You can hitch a ride on a NASA rocket right now, as long as you pay for it, but it's going to cost you $200 and something thousand per kilogram.
Yeah, I don't know if it was here in I think it might have been at Cal State, but it might have also been Japan. I can't remember, but there's a startup company that has literally developed wooden satellites. Since they're not coming back, they don't need to be made out of metal, so they literally made them out of wood.
And that saves money.
Yeah, it's just for weight savings is really what they knew they could put more satellites in orbit if they used wood instead of metal.
So we should be able to develop something to go to the moon for less than $65 billion then.
Yeah, I mean, we can build it out of
If
pine.
we're building, yeah,
Dude, all the trees they've cut around like my house, man. Like, dude, there's more than enough wood to build 1,000 of them.
I guarantee you right now, there is the technology that we have sitting on this planet, especially when you're looking at this new rocket that NASA has, the Artemis project. If you look at that, you could send it to the moon right now. If they assembled one fully, fueled it fully, it could go to the moon. The problem is it's not going to come back.
Then why'd that NASA scientist say they didn't have the technology to do it anymore? And another one said that like we had to overcome the challenge of the Van Allen radiation belt to get humans safely out there.
I don't know what retard said that, but I mean, I hate to say the hard R word, but yeah, he might have got his shit pushed in or something, but he didn't
really work at NASA because that's been solved for years.
But we lost the technology.
We didn't lose the technology, but we have people in space currently at the space station. That's in the Van Allen radiation belt.
That's on like the outer edge. That didn't go through it. That didn't go through completely and out. Like, but yeah, they're floating on the edge. I mean, we're absorbing radiation right now.
They're still subject to the same radiation you're going to feel. That every time there's a solar flare, it injects more radiation into that area where the space station is than you're going to see in the Van Allen belts, because that's just the nature of how gamma radiation works. That's something that's been solved. I mean, the space suits they wear are shielded enough from that to make it through it. It's
whenever you watch them on the thing, they're not wearing space suits. They're wearing a shirt and a pair of pants and some socks.
That's because the space station has the same lining as their spacesuits.
Correct.
I mean,
It's
like,
just
lead.
they're
It's
on
a
the
space
outside
age
edge of it.
lead.
Like, there's a big difference in being at like 20 foot away from a fire and a foot away from a fire.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Outside of what is it, 67,000 feet, all radiation is the same.
Yeah, there's no. You don't have the protection of the atmosphere once you're where they're at. It doesn't.
You can
matter.
actually still be in the atmosphere and suffer from space radiation sickness, and actually still be in atmosphere.
So we should be cool so why can't we just wear shorts and tennis shoes to the moon then? As long as
I
it's
mean,
lined.
Yeah, if they have the right.
There's
lining.
no air. I mean, how you gonna breathe? It's a vacuum.
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
there's
we
no
just
atmosphere on the moon.
He's talking about getting there, not once you're there.
I mean,
Oh
you
no,
can.
getting there,
I mean,
yeah, you definitely could.
They did. Look at pictures of Apollo 13. They're
They're in their
literally
socks.
just in shorts and a t-shirt. Like, like that's their NASA approved gear for when they're in space.
Oh yeah, yeah, traveling. The only time they wear the spacesuit is when they evac or do a walk or they're launching or landing. I mean,
What
that's
was
the only
up-
time they have to wear them.
What was up with that rat that was running around on that space, whatever it was? It was like a satellite or something when that astronaut was out there performing maintenance on. It was like space station or something. You remember that rat that was caught on TV?
Yeah, it ran around on the thing.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's pretty crazy, right? How did he get up there?
That was probably fake footage.
Oh,
No, I doubt it. They've had hundreds of rats in the space station.
how?
And because
They carry them with
survive.
them.
Yeah. And they're also breeding rats up there because they use it for science experiments.
Okay, let's pivot around again. If you go to the moon, wouldn't you be ecstatic when you get back? Wouldn't you be like talking shit and slapping asses?
Honestly, given the testimony that I've read from Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong about their trip to the moon, and there's a couple other astronauts that have echoed the sentiments. No, because they said that when you're standing on the surface of the moon and you can see the entirety of Earth and everyone that's ever lived on it and everyone that currently lives all in one frame of reference, besides you and the guy that's standing next to you, it fills you with this like existential feeling that you can't shake for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's one common thread that I keep hearing about most astronauts, even the ones we can, there's
Buzz
no way you
Aldrin
can just
conquered
prove they
his
haven't
just
been in
fine because
space.
he does all kinds of talks and conferences, and
Yeah, but
he's been giving out nickels that he took to the moon for 47 years.
I mean, yeah, but the
Like, how's
the
he
one
still
thing
giving
I'm
away nickels? This went to the moon.
well, I
Well, I
mean,
don't think he's giving away anymore, but okay.
but the thing about that is the one thing that all astronauts have in common is it scares them to the point where they don't want to return because of the feeling that it gives them being away from
Yeah,
Earth.
it's not a pleasant feeling they get when you see that. They said it's very much something that lives with you for the rest of your life, which is why Buzz Aldrin lost his shit when he was talking to a reporter somewhere. It was somewhere in Ohio at it might have been Ohio
Talking
State
about when he
University or
punched a
something like
guy.
that.
What was his name? The
Bart
guy,
Cybrell.
Yeah,
Bart Cybrell. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the one that has basically debunked the moon landing. Bart. That's
He
who-
didn't debunk anything, but that's why he got punched by Buzz Aldrin, because the dude was sitting there saying that all these feelings that Buzz Aldrin has, all the accomplishments. I mean, you're talking about a man's life work. Like, this is a crowning achievement.
And on
And
top
you're-
of that, you also got to remember that all the Apollo astronauts, like he said before in the history, all these guys were test pilots. Every one of them was like secret squirrel their whole entire military career. So why would they be braggarts about going to the moon?
Because
They-
if I
every-
done
and
something that
everything
no
that-
other person on the face of the earth done, I must
Their whole
drag my dick
career was
across
spent
everybody's
doing that, though.
forehead and dare
Their whole
them to say
career-
something to me.
Every one of those guys' careers from the beginning to end before the moon was like that. I mean, they should have been pulling
I'm
big dick
sure-
Larry everywhere they
Yeah,
went.
and I'm sure they were driving Harleys and wearing leather jackets and banging dudes' girlfriends like on the regular.
And they might have been during the process of the experimental thing. But even having met Chuck Yeager, which I have done in the past, he is not a guy who sits here and brags about what he's done. He's a very humble man. He'll tell you himself, I was just following orders. I was lucky enough to be the one they chose. because it was truly an honor to be chosen for this program.
I have chucked after
It was not
drinking
easy.
Jaeger too.
I love Jaeger. I blame my mother.
You know what's funny about Chuck Yeager? What's funny about Chuck Yeager is, he's the first man to break the sound barrier, fastest man alive and all that. He's a hot air balloon pilot. Well, I'm pretty sure he's dead now, but at the time he was a hot air balloon pilot, which is the slowest form of air travel. I always found that fascinating.
You said he broke what speed to
The
like
sound, he
land?
was the first man to break the sound
The
barrier.
first man to break sound barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but here's the funny thing: is we grew up with a local astronaut, and actually, I think he still may hold the record for the most flown missions
I
in the
think-
space shuttle. Curtis Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
And
him coming into.
he always had a commercial airline pilot attitude, though, about space.
He was very nonchalant about it, like it was nothing.
Well,
But he was an
when you-
exception, not the rule.
I feel like most astronauts are that way because they realize how much it means to be chosen for the program. And they also understand that they are carrying the weight of all humanity with them when they go to space. Like they understand the weight of what they're doing. They're not just going up there trying to cowboy it.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it's
At the
it's
end
crazy.
of the day, like y'all can keep telling me all these things, I'm not gonna believe it. Like just like I've been screamed at my entire life about Jesus as the way, the truth, and the light, and I don't believe that either. So
but how many actual photographs of Jesus have you seen?
none.
Exactly, my
How many
point.
actual photographs
Moon one,
of
Jesus
like,
0.
people on the moon I've seen? None.
I hate to tell you.
I don't believe it, man. Like I'm
You're
sorry.
not gonna hear
Do
an
you
argument.
do you think 9/11 was like an inside job?
Do I think any
There's
government
evidence to suggest.
war has been an inside job? Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was just-
every war in history has been an inside job.
So my
Not every
closing
war.
thing about this moon landing thing, and this is something that
we ain't
really
went for
you
an
should
hour
think
yet.
about the amount. So when it comes to the moon landing, if it really was going to be faked and a cover up, the amount of people and resources that went into the space program, there would have to be some smoking gun somewhere for where that money actually went, because money like that just doesn't evaporate.
It does.
There would be some scandal
Dude,
that popped
What's
up.
the dude's name that went before Congress on September the 10th and said they couldn't find like
Yeah,
$38 trillion?
Yeah, and then next
And
thing
then
you know,
9/11
9/11
happens
happened.
and Building 7's over there that has all the financial stuff in it, and like no plane hit it, and it's it's gone.
It fell down too.
Yeah.
It fell down because it was
it's gone.
scared because
so
the other
they can
two
make
buildings-
money disappear. And as far as like the people thing, if the government comes up and tells you if you don't do this, I'm gonna kill you. First, I'm gonna kill your wife and your
that would
kids and make you
out.
watch. Then I'm gonna kill
No,
you.
nobody would cover it, dude. The amount of people that like, I know you didn't grow up where I grew up at, but the amount of people that I knew personally that worked on the space program, or their parents worked on the space program, and the grandparents worked on the space program, that all would basically look at you like you're stupid if
Oh,
you
I
even
am stupid,
suggested
so-
it wasn't real. Like the amount of people involved in, I mean, there's an entire a city. It's not even a town, city in Huntsville, Alabama that's built around the space program.
You gotta check the
City.
title of the cast, bro.
and but like the amount of people that would be involved in a cover up, it would be impossible to keep a lid on it. Somebody would be producing evidence, especially all this time later, to where it would show without a shadow of a doubt that it was not real.
Well,
but that has
Cybrell
never
has
happened.
been doing that for 15,
Yeah.
20 years.
And then there's been a lot of people that had deathbed confessions that like, oh, I helped to fake it.
My biggest thing about 9/11 is there's a lot of things. I mean, the biggest one is Osama bin Laden himself. I mean, we absolutely have proof that he was a CIA plant for years fighting Russia and Afghanistan.
Well, we're
I mean,
going to agree on this one because,
Yeah,
like,
like,
the reason why they said that the Afghanistan people, I mean, minus the fact that they were the pilots, but they were like, oh, you have to blame Afghanistan because their people are dancing in the streets. Do you remember that? They were like, all these people in Afghanistan are dancing in the streets, so that means that they had something to do with it. And we're like,
why'd we go to Iraq? We didn't
Yeah,
need to go to
wasn't-
Iraq.
wasn't all
because
the pilots but
W wanted to
one
finish
Saudi
what his
Ar-
daddy couldn't. That's what that was.
Yeah, but wasn't all of the pilots Saudi Arabian but one, and he was Yemenis?
Yeah, and then they found his passport intact, too.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, just saying. We're just gonna have to agree to
But
disagree
But this,
about the
no.
moon.
Charles is talking about the moon, though. I agree with Charles 100%. So we're all going to differ on opinion on that, but I do have to be in agreement with Charles on
I
this one.
mean, like, to each their own, man. Like,
I've
we've
seen
been
way too
friends
much
forever,
proof
but
on the
I
other
don't-
side.
Like,
I don't
we don't agree on everything. It's the way it is.
I don't
we
love
don't.
either one of you any differently because you feel
Yeah,
that way.
Charles, I
about-
don't know you. I love you, man. It's okay. You can look at me like I'm an idiot all you want to. I get looked at that. I look at myself in the mirror worse than what anybody on the face of this planet could look at myself.
No,
So-
but Charles,
Look,
I've had
this-
family members that
whenever
worked at Houston, and I've been throughout NASA more than I could even imagine. I even went to space camp. So I mean,
Nerd.
I mean, listen.
yeah, I am.
If you
whenever this podcast takes off, we're going to have a class field trip to the Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, and I want you to look at all the evidence that we went
hey, listen.
and really look at it.
As long
like,
as it's
read
listener
everything.
funded, I will go right now.
Yeah.
I will pack up my fucking truck
hey,
and
amen.
leave right now.
Yeah, like we'll make if like we actually start making some good money off of this. Sure, yeah, we'll fucking go.
I will strap.
Yeah,
I've got a
we will
GoPro.
revisit that.
I will strap it to my forehead and walk through there.
Yeah, I'll get like the little chest thing and put it on, and just I have to bundle my beard up so
And
like it's not like a
if we all just decide to like pile up in a space shuttle and it just happens to launch up towards the moon, then it just happens. Okay, I mean that's just how it goes.
start playing
Well, I hate to
Rocket
be the
Man.
bearer of bad news, but you're not flying from Houston or Alabama.
No, you got to go from Kennedy. But that way we could if you have that kind of money from this deal, we can do that there too. We'll go to Kennedy and watch a launch so you can see the thing in action.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully,
Like,
all this will be up and running
I
by
say
then.
nothing.
Or
Like,
actually-
I full on believe
actually,
rockets
it wouldn't
go
even
up,
cost that much
probes, satellites,
because-
all that stuff. Like I watch satellites in the sky all the time fly. Or you can see some of them.
We could
blinking.
go. We could go to Virginia and watch a launch. We wouldn't even have to go to Florida. We could go to
You
Virginia.
can see it from North Carolina.
Going to Virginia
I
in
mean-
October.
But I'm talking about being up and close and feeling the rocket take off.
I like to feel rockets.
That's something I've never done. I've always wanted to. I remember. So I don't remember what year it was. I think it was like 2011. It might have been 2012. I think it was 2011. I remember watching the final shuttle launch, and like I was home whenever it happened, and I was with a lot of people who did a lot of work on that project because it was a big deal. It was a huge deal in Alabama, and the amount of people that were emotional because that was like their life's work was working on this shuttle program. This is the last one, and now they got to go work on something else.
Okay.
Well, now, I mean, obviously they've all been purpose in the Blue Origin and all that other stuff, but like the amount of people, this was it is incredible to watch the emotion on people's faces.
So let me ask you a question. I know this is like way out of left field and stuff, but who do you believe built the pyramids?
I have an off the wall question too. I can ask
Oh no,
everybody.
I'll tell you who I think built the pyramids. It wasn't the Egyptians. If it wasn't the Egyptians
Wait a
that
minute
claimed
now.
it.
It was
Zahi
the Egyptians
Hawass.
way before the Egyptians are
Zahi
claiming.
Hawass says that the reason why these people dedicated their lives to it was because it was the country's like lifetime project was to build the pyramids.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look, let's hear that, Mr. Propaganda Man, because
I was
that's how
about to
he
say,
is. He's
read,
the
read my book.
propaganda for Egypt.
Read my book.
I'm saying, how can that be propaganda, but the moon landing can't be?
So,
Dude, he literally
I
worked.
know what you're fishing for when you ask me this question, because we've talked about this before. However, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't think that we have ever been visited by extraterrestrials, because I truly think extraterrestrials exist. I do not believe one way or the other that we have or have not been visited. I don't know the answer to that. I would like to believe that we have, because that's really cool to think about. But we were so backwards at the time that we weren't worth helping. But like, there are too many coincidences with the way things are developed. And if you really want to go down a conspiracy theory hole,
Oh,
I think the
do all
entire.
time.
I think that there's a possibility that the space program and going to the moon was because of extraterrestrials.
Maybe that's why we never went back. It's because something told us, "Hey, stop fucking around up here."
Hey man,
Oh,
see you
I
on the
can
dark
see
side
that
of the
point.
moon.
So
We're
there's
told
a
to
theory
wait.
I read. There's a theory I read one time, and I really truly want this to be. I want this to be so true. I don't know if it is, but I want it to be, because the amount of people involved on the chain of command that actually have to be involved is very minimal. Probably 5 or 6 people total. But like the reason the space race happened was because we have something here on this planet that some other alien civilization needed, but they couldn't come get it from us.
Was it the
like on
labyrinth?
Earth. I don't know.
Did you look
it
that
might
up?
be the cure
what?
for.
No, it wouldn't be a maze. You mean the
polio, for
monolith?
all I know.
The
The monolith,
that I was
not the-
telling you about
Oh
earlier.
no, I didn't look it
The-
up yet.
Was it the
Like,
labyrinth or the monolith?
The
It was-
the
it might
monolith
be the
is
cure.
2001: Space Odyssey, man.
Well, I mean, no, but they still there's a lot of there is an actual theory out there. That's what they went for. Is they saw it on the telescope that the monolith was sitting there through pictures, and that's what they went to the Sea of Tranquility to find out.
And well, so the
Maybe they
theory
did.
that I heard to flesh it out was like, let's just say, for instance, it's the cure for polio, right? And it's like ravaging this alien species, but we aren't, we weren't allowed to be contacted for whatever reason, whether it be that this is, we were put on Earth as punishment for something our race did.
I've heard that before.
Trillions of
The
years
prison
ago.
Earth theory. Yeah, I've been.
Yeah, and so they weren't allowed to contact us, so they couldn't be seen coming to Earth. They could get away with going to the moon because it's an observation point or something. I don't know what the whole way is fleshed out, but that was what started the space race, because we were given information, us and the Russians, because we were the only two that were capable of getting there at the time, and so we were racing to get the technology, right? And the fact that we beat them there and got the technology from whatever this alien civilization was and gave them what they needed is the reason why we won the Cold War. It's the reason why we've become the preeminent superpower since, is because that was the technology we were racing to the moon to get. And I want that to be true so bad.
My
Because
biggest thing would
Oh, Eisenhower met with the Greys. That's the reason why they faked him having a dental emergency that weekend.
Yeah, like the whole theory, just like the science fiction nerd in me, like just wants to see this as like as a novel or a
Okay.
movie or something. But
I would too. Let's be fair. I would too. But
Yeah, same.
here's the thing. Here's the thing about a lot of technology and stuff like that. When we talk about aliens, I'm on Charles with it. I can't say if they have or haven't, but I think it takes away from us human ingenuity that we didn't have developed technology that we created ourselves rather than somebody handing it to us. Because something that people keep throwing off to the side is, I don't know. Well, I know where everybody gets this idea that we're only 5,000, 6,000 years old, but the fact remains is
My
we got
mother.
archaeological proof that we're at least 375,000 years old. There's no way we stayed in the cave age for 370,000 years
No, I
and just
believe
popped out of it.
I believe that too, but I believe it's a lot older than that, dude. Because like if you're sitting there telling me that the universe is millions of years old, but we're only like 5,000 years old, why?
buddy, the universe is
Well,
billions of years old.
I can see that,
It's like
but I mean,
13.8 billion or something like that.
I'm just going upon what we absolutely have fact.
Have you heard about the
On-
3
on Earth.
million year old wheel that they found?
Oh
and-
yeah, with the ruts around it and stuff. I
Yeah.
heard about that.
So I think humanity is a lot older than even science can prove yet. Because if you look at, I can see where people believe the 5,000 year thing is based on the rate of technological evolution in their lifetimes. So like somebody who was born in the 20s got to see the craziest timeline, right? Like you got to see the world change on a daily basis. It's only speeding up the rate of technological change, right? But people forget that from measurable written history, 10,000 BCE to 1900, nothing really changed. Like
That
we
wasn't
invented
even those
gunpowder, and that's about it. Like so, you could have survived as humans from, if you were born in 1840, you could survive in 10,000 BC, as long as the diseases wouldn't kill you. Like life wouldn't be that much different.
You should be
Oh,
fine with all the
the one thing-
vaccines we've got and everything.
Well, I
We
mean-
should be fine if we went back then. We'd be like God. Nothing would get us sick. We could actually live past 40.
I mean, one of the biggest issues with trying to link that, I mean, is at the aspect of where the history was being written, and 9 times out of 10, it's written out of either a Mediterranean or a Central European point of view. And what little bit of Chinese point of view we get to have, we can't never tell if that's true or not because of the government of China. But with the rest of the world, they just didn't keep written record.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you because like I think humanity in its current form, like as Homo sapiens, has existed for a lot longer than we've been led to believe.
Well,
I truly believe we're
Yeah,
600,000 years old as a
Yeah,
species.
I believe we've hit high technology plenty of times, but some
Yeah.
kind of natural disaster has took us out, whether it be a comet, an asteroid, volcanic eruptions, something happens
aren't
that
there
fucks us up and
bones-
sets
Well,
us
here's an-
back.
Well, here's an issue, they keep bringing up is, we don't find the materials we make today in time. And supposedly they would have made the same materials. And it's like,
No, they wouldn't. They
that's
could have
not the
developed
case at
technology on
all.
a different whole spectrum. Like they could have had something to do with
Completely
sound
different.
frequency
Well,
and stuff.
and really,
make
you're not
everything
going to
work.
find anything. You're not going to find anything in antiquity that survived past the age of metallurgy, because wooden utensils don't survive. And when I say
Yeah,
utensils,
Yeah,
I mean
metal will rust away.
Well, they're saying that
Yeah.
labyrinth thing that's underground in Egypt or whatever is made out of metal.
Well, I mean, if it's buried underground and it's really dry in Egypt now, so
Yeah, there's no moisture. There hadn't been moisture in Egypt for 14,000 years. That's why the pyramids can't be built by the Egyptians, because there's archaeological and geological proof that they were built before then.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
it takes
like,
a
the
truck
rain
with like
erosion will-
fucking 40 wheels on it to move like a 5-ton block, but these people were doing it with tree stumps.
yeah. Have you ever seen the like obelisk that they were cutting out in Baalbek in Lebanon?
Yeah.
Like that thing.
I
is,
mean, I haven't seen it in person. I
Right,
would like to.
I would like
but-
to as well. Hey, you never know, man. We'll get popular one day, and we'll go to the space center.
Hey, listen,
and
listener funded. I will pack up the truck right now and I will head out.
you'll drive to Lebanon
Yeah.
right now.
Drive to
I
Lebanon.
want to see you drive. I want to see that happen. I would pay. I would
He's
pay
gonna
for the
drive to
fucking
Lebanon,
trip.
Lebanon, North Carolina.
Hey,
I
man,
mean,
if
yeah,
you
that-
get
that
it
could
going
be-
fast enough, that
I'm
bitch
sure
will
there's a
just
Lebanon somewhere
skip
in North
across the
America.
water. It'll just skip across.
He'll end up in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Is there a Lebanon, Tennessee?
Yeah, there's a Lebanon,
Yeah.
North Carolina too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lebanon, Tennessee is the home of Cracker Barrel. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, Tennessee.
and Dollar General.
I thought Tennessee's like Goodletts. I thought Dollar General was like Goodlettsville or something like that.
That's what the
Goodlettsville,
headquarters
Lebanon,
is.
same place. They're both Nashville.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Before
Oh, it's
we
about like
stop,
Fayetteville, where like Spring Lake and Hope Mills is like
Yeah.
it's
they
fucking
still consider
Fayetteville.
it Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Every-
just like if you're from Leland, you wouldn't go, I'm from Leland. You'd go, I'm
I'm from
Wilmington
Wilmington.
area.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fayetteville is absorbing all
like,
of that.
you can
around
say
it.
you're from New
Rayford.
Hanover County, and it's like no, you're from Wilmington because New Hanover County is Wilmington.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the other towns are just kind of like neighborhoods.
Before we, how long have we been going?
Long.
This
an
has
hour-
been a good episode, fellas.
hour
I mean,
and
no audio
7
problems.
minutes.
It's been great.
Before we stop, we got to talk about that dude that was pounding one out at the Corn
Oh
concert.
yeah,
Oh man, he had the life.
yeah, man. He was like twisting his transistor.
I've never gotten that excited to listen to Corn.
Yeah,
before.
somebody need to put that
And,
freak
and when he
back
got
on a
hit
leash.
upside the temple, he went blind.
He got
Yeah, dude just like waylays the hell out of him. It's great. Okay, my question to everybody: if I ask you to play Creep, what are you going to play if I ask you to play Creep? Like what band?
what is that band? I don't even remember.
It's Radiohead, right?
No, I mean, yeah,
that's-
like, you went Radiohead,
that's
okay?
Radiohead.
Okay,
Radiohead
there's
thing.
multiple versions. Of Creep. There's Radiohead done Creep, then STP had Creep, TLC had one.
I thought
Yeah, but
the
STP, I never really think, STP is one of those bands that has like a double name for every song they write. So Creep's kind of like, it's there but not there.
I thought the TLC one was Freak instead of Creep.
I thought it was Creep.
It might have been, but I thought it was Freak.
No, it's Creep. It is Creep. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. So
Anything else? Anything else?
Didn't Cannibal
What-
Corpse make a song called Creep?
I'm curious where this is going and why you asked.
Why ask what? Oh, just Bobby asked me to ask everybody to see what they went with. So,
My first introduction to that song is Guitar Hero, like the original Guitar Hero.
That's the Radiohead. Yeah, that's
that's
okay.
Radiohead.
Radiohead Creep.
Radiohead hates playing Creep live too,
Why?
because they had to play it so fucking much. I'm sure certain bands have, like, I know like Lemmy hated playing Ace of Spades.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the only song I know by them, though.
No,
There's-
that's not true. Time to play the game. You know Triple H's theme song.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Motor. Well, Lemmy, I don't know if Motorhead done the whole thing, but I know Lemmy sung it.
okay. So now that Charles is on here, I can ask this question, and we never asked Trey this question either. So, do you think that musicians remember every single song that they ever performed?
No, I know for a fact they don't.
No,
See,
absolutely
I
not.
told you, like, I've seen Kerry King fuck up playing. I think it was like South of Heaven or something before.
So, what percentage of their like discography do you think that they do remember?
The songs they're playing on tour.
Yeah,
No.
the songs they play over and over and over.
Yeah, I
Because
can tell you.
I'm sure if you take Nickelback, for instance, right? Somebody who's got every song they have is super fucking popular.
I think I just got the
I'm
herpes.
making a point with this. I don't listen to Nickelback all the time. I'm making a point with
Hey man, look
They-
at this
they play
photograph.
They play the same
So the
album
moon landing.
effectively every concert, right?
That's true. That's
Like,
true.
They play that the All the Right Reasons album is the only one they play in concert, plus maybe whatever new shit. I guarantee you they could not pick up and play something off the state right now. Because it was so long ago and there's a mental block there from before they got famous.
Well, when
But,
I
like-
saw Scott Weiland in concert, like he was at the time, it was Velvet Revolver he was touring with, and he had two armbands on, and he had a sheet of paper between the armbands that had the lyrics on them.
Huh?
That's
Yeah,
because
but
he
I
was
mean,
probably
I will
heroined out of
say-
his mind while he was up there singing too.
I will say that like guys like Ronnie Radke, though, I went to the Fallen Reverse concert in Raleigh, right? And he played an Escape the Fate song in the middle of the set. So like that's not even the band he's in anymore. And like that was like what, 2008?
It's been
Well,
a
I mean,
while.
Brandon Boyd can pretty much recall every song that he's written.
Well, that's a
even
lot
the
different in
melodies.
between remembering lyrics to a song and singing them versus somebody playing like a really technical guitar part or like a
Oh, I mean, I
killer drum
agree, but I
fill.
think
Like I know I
I
can
think
remember
it
lyrics to a
depends.
shitload of songs, but you ask me to play something, I'm gonna look at you like I'm retarded.
I think it depends on the musician, honestly. Like some guys maybe can, some guys maybe can't.
Yeah, like
because
some
I know,
virtuoso type deal.
yeah, well, there's also there's this account I follow called Drumeo on
Oh,
on
yeah,
TikTok.
yeah,
and-
yeah.
Everybody's
we all
on
watch
Drumeo.
Drumeo.
Yeah,
The
so,
Mike
like, those
Portnoy
guys
ones are the
do-
best ones, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, so like they come up and they make beats that sound pretty damn close
Yeah.
to the original thing, but it's their own little twist on it without even hearing the drums.
The,
So, I mean,
the
I
craziest
think
one was
a good
Chad Smith
musician-
doing the
Yeah, that
30
was
Seconds
really
to
good.
Mars. He played
Yeah.
that shit almost dead on.
Yeah, he almost did. Yeah.
And so I mean, like, I think it depends on the musician, but like he is a hell of a musician, one of the best. But then you got other guys who aren't as good, or they're that's not their genre or whatever. So I mean, I think it really just depends on how you are as a musician, because I feel like a guitarist is different than a drummer.
Well, take like Polyphia. I mean, they can actually play just right off the top of their head. They can play their songs. I mean, you picture playing God. That's like computer like level synthesizer complicated, and he can actually play it on guitar by memory.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, but it also
Tim
depends
Henson
on
was
genre.
a fucking monster on the fucking guitar, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like you get a country artist out there that plays 4 chords and that's it. That's going to be a whole lot easier to recreate every song you've ever written versus somebody who puts a lot of effort into playing guitar solos.
Well,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just
gonna,
like
I'm
a
gonna- I'm gonna put
12/8
this stab out
timing.
there, but I'm pretty sure Travis Tritt has the exact same freaking 4 chords in every damn song he's
Well,
ever
to
written.
be
Trust me,
Your
I've
mom
heard
is
them.
going to disown you if she hears you talking trash
Listen.
on Travis Tritt.
Nobody knows that a country artist travels with a band. Like nobody knows that it is a band. They just know the country.
They know
artist.
the singer. Yeah, they're their backup band.
So you could literally have different people in that
They
band
do.
from show to show,
Yeah,
and
like,
nobody would ever notice.
Some of them have like
Well,
a
the only band I can
Charleston
think of country wise that has a band with her all the time is Allison Krauss and Union Station. That's like it. That's like the only one I can think of. Period.
Charlie Daniels had a
there's a
band that stuck together for a
Yeah, the
while.
Charlie Daniels band. Then there's what is it? The Old
Creedence
Dominion
Clearwater Revival.
I wouldn't classify them as country.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't classify them as country.
No,
John Fogerty, man, he's got a very distinctive voice.
Okay, I guess I would consider that more like
Proud
classic
Mary
rock.
wasn't burning;
that's
she
like
was
saying Leonard
whining.
Skinner is country.
Yeah, Willie Nelson Family Band. I mean, that's a pretty traveling group. But then again, they're all family members.
So about this guy that was jerking off at the Korn concert, though.
Yep. Yeah, about it.
He
He got knocked the fuck out and drug out.
Yeah, and now he's on a sex offender list.
Well, that's good.
As he should be.
I'm glad that something
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that
dude,
happened.
can't you wait till you get home, or at least go to the bathroom before you start
I
spanking
mean,
the monkey?
but to all things, I mean, really, there.
He
I mean, it
really
wasn't like
loves
there was a
Jonathan Davis, man. Leave
cheerleader
him alone.
Or a chick with her, her.
I mean,
her
we never
top
know.
off,
There could have been
nothing.
a chick down there in the crowd that really cranked his tractor, and he just had to fucking go.
Man, that dude got some. That dude must read porno. Where's Waldo style? Because I mean, he was way up there.
So in the eyes of the law, if we're going to go down this route, in the eyes of the law, does it really any distinction from a girl having her tits out versus a guy cranking it?
You got a point there. I mean,
No,
you know,
actually, no. Oh, wait a minute. In the state of North Carolina, Supreme Court has ruled that tits are not pubic areas. Are not private. They're not considered private areas. That is literally the law. Women's breasts are not considered private areas.
well, I think
So,
we should-
ladies, there you go. Time to start walking around topless.
there you go. I mean, it's in the rule books, really. I mean,
Everybody, with certain exceptions, there's some that we don't need to see.
Well, they literally have that law on the books so they can have nude beaches. I mean, that's literally why that law exists.
Dude,
But
every
dudes
ti-
walk around on nude beaches with their peckers out too.
on nude beaches.
That's
I mean,
true.
they have like a permit to do that though, because like
but also,
they have
Can
like
you
women are
imagine
gonna be-
walking up to
women
the
are slightly
permit
treated
office?
different.
I can see walking up to the Brunswick County Courthouse, and be like, I want a permit walk around my.
Hey, that's the new business venture right there, dude. We should like invest in a nude beach. It doesn't even have to be at the beach.
Yeah, actually,
I feel
you know
like
what?
I'm
that
on a
would be more
sitcom
fruitful if it
sometimes
was
with some of
at
these fucked up ideas you have to come up with
like
stuff.
a really nice like river setup, have
Yes.
like a nude beach on the river.
One side of White Lake.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we
that would
could
go
do-
over great.
Yeah, here's our new
wouldn't
beach
happen.
on the Cape Fear River.
Yeah,
There you go. Take a dunk in, get coated in Gen X.
They ain't letting it happen at White Lake, but I would. Like, yeah, Cape Fear River is probably more on point with that.
Hey, you
Well, maybe even Black River, depending on how. I mean, depending on what kind of clientele you're going to let in, you might not want to see any of them naked. So Black River might be the best place.
we can put it down there in a cut and all the cypress trees.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
the ratio of people who you don't want to see naked to who you actually do want to see naked is going to be skewed in the don't want to see naked.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely like a 95-5 split here.
Right.
Like,
Look, Ron White said it best. Ron White said it best. Look, once you see one pair,
You wanna
you
see
got to
them
see the
all.
rest.
the wife's going to text me and yell at me about this one. Anyways, all right, let's put a button on this pig.
I guess.
Yeah.
I could go on for another hour.
I could, but unfortunately, you got to feed the beast sometime.
yeah, that's true.
So, anyways, all
All right,
right.
guys, it's been a pleasure. I've appreciated being on here tonight.
Hey, Charles is actually technically our first guest.
He was.
Yeah.
He called in. I called him one time.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the
but
phone.
actually, we had for the
Yeah.
entirety of the thing.
Yeah.
He is numero. He popped our cherry.
Yeah, he did.
So look, I'll
Thank
be
you,
here
Drake.
anytime you guys want me.
All right.
I will absolutely come back whenever.
We
So,
got to think of another topic to have a full
yeah, anytime.
conversation about, though.
Well, I'm
all right, I'll send you some ideas when I get a chance to do.
I
a
mean,
deep dive.
I think we already hit the idea. I think ancient civilizations would be a good one to top.
There we go. We can make that work. I can do a deep dive on some stuff.
I just have a
Was,
feeling that we would all agree more or less.
Yeah, like we're
on
not
that,
gonna
though.
like argue on that one. There's not gonna be like me trying to shit on it like I was on this one.
right, but I mean, there's plenty. There's going to be plenty of expansion that things that not all of us have thought of that at least one of us has. So I mean, that would be a really great conversation.
If you want,
I've already named this episode too. Like I done it while we were doing it. It's a honeymooners reference.
If you want Jeremy to shit on an idea for an entire episode, just talk about a drive-through grocery store.
Dude, I've been shitting on that for almost a fucking year now, and I will continue to.
You're still the minority.
This man
really
had
can't
John
carry on
Breaks
this
Bad
one.
News call me with this, and like I forgot to tell John Breaks Bad News whenever we were talking to him that that it's a terrible idea.
I did. Hey,
I
Charles,
disagree. I disagree.
Charles, I had John Breaks Bad News to call Jeremy the other night. So he's actually Charles is the first person I had to call.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember you.
Yeah,
You called me and had me like pull it up on YouTube and
Yeah.
watch it whenever it's like he's about to call him. Call him. So, all right, we'll party again another day. So,
10-4.
all right, later, peoples.
Later.
Later.